It's the ice time you've been waiting for, Panthers fans. Here's your host, David Dwork, with Chirping the Cats Radio.
Good morning, hockey fans. Chirping the Cats Radio is live on the air, coming to you from high atop Dry Pink Stadium in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Adjusting to the off season. It's been a couple weeks, I guess. Playoffs have been pretty good, going strong. That's one thing that I kind of noticed this off season. I don't know if it's anything the same for you guys out there in Pantherland, but I don't know. I felt like I got over the playoff loss pretty quickly. Maybe it's just getting more used to the experience, because we really haven't over the years. But going back to like 2012, and I even think in 2016, it was a little hard to go back to watching the rest of the playoffs at first after the Panthers were ousted. Not the case this year. Right back on the horse, enjoying, for the most part, some pretty good hockey. The North Division has been a kind of a disappointment. Montreal's fun to watch, but I mean the games themselves have been kind of meh. We'll talk about that later. Coming up on the show today, I want to get into Bill Zito had his exit media availability with the press earlier this week, so we talked to Bill on Zoom, and as usual with Zito, very, very well thought out answers. Seems that he comes across very honest. You really have to appreciate that. So we'll get into what Bill talked about. I want to talk about Sasha Barkov's contract extension that's more than likely going to happen this summer if you listen to the main characters involved in the story, being Barkov and Zito. Is Sergei Bobrovsky going to be the most expensive backup goalie in the league next year? Yeah, I'll explain why I think so. We got an update on Aaron Ekblad. He'll be ready. I'm not really worried about Aaron Ekblad. I mean, there was talk that he might have been able to get back into the playoffs if the Panthers had lasted long enough. So, all things going well with Aaron Ekblad, but we'll dive into that just with what Bill Zito had to say about it a little bit later. I'll have a chirp of the week for you on an old friend here in South Florida that I feel has been getting a bum rap. Not so much today, though, but overall. A little teasy tease right there for you. And then around the pond, just to, talk about, as I mentioned before, some good series going on, some meh series going on. And then next segment, I'll be joined by Jeff Chikrin, former NHL defenseman, Stanley Cup champion, and Bally Sports Florida studio analyst for the Florida Panthers broadcast. Chick will join me next segment, and we'll get into the season, into the off season. And I'll ask him for a little bit of locker room insight as a guy who's been there, done that. Some interesting questions involving the Panthers locker room and how important the camaraderie of the locker room is, say, surrounding certain things like streaks. I don't know, something like that. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, we'll talk to Chick in about 15 minutes on the other side of the break. So first thing I want to get into, as I mentioned, the Bill Zito exit talks, right? So obviously it was kind of a gloom and doom setting because, this is a team that had perhaps the best regular season in its history in terms of points percentage, if you want to be technical, but in terms of just like overall success and dominance. And look, even I'm kind of placing a little like mental asterisk on the season only because you only played 7 teams out of 30 that you should be playing. So it's kind of hard to gauge on that grandiose scale. But, I mean, look, for what they did in the division, they butted heads with Carolina. They played well against Tampa. And they really kind of did what they had to do against all the other teams. And I don't want to hear you guys screaming, "Oh, they lost to Detroit." Yeah, a bunch of teams lost to Detroit. That's how Detroit had wins. Like, that's hockey. That's what makes hockey great. Any team can win any game, any night. It's not like the NBA, where if the 1 seed's playing the bottom seed, you know what's going to happen. No, that's hockey. That's what's great about it. And Panther fans should kind of have an understanding of that because the Panthers were in that Detroit position that Columbus position for a long time. The Panthers were the team just biting and scratching and clawing for whatever wins they could get. So, yeah. Very good regular season. I'm just like, I'm more excited / anxious to get to next year just to see how this team is going to size up against, a larger variety of opponents. Yeah, it's because like the Panthers, when you watched them succeed this year, you watched them kind of bring their style of play. We've talked about it. The possession game, the transition game, speed off the rush. They did it really well, and that's why they were successful, because they were able to do their thing pretty much game in and game out. You ran into your issues against the better Carolina and Tampa Bay. But for the most part, especially 5-on-5, the Panthers did their thing. So I want to see how that's going to play out next year, when we're going to have a pretty similar roster coming back, I would expect. The cast of characters should be, for the most part, it's going to be the same guys. There might be a couple moved in and out. We'll have to see how things play out with free agency. We talked about that last week with Ian, about, Florida's RFAs, the guys you expect back, Bennett, Duclair, Forsling. The UFAs, perhaps guys that are going to come back, Montour, Wenberg. Not Drieger. He's such a good goalie. I was thinking about it. I think it was a couple of days ago. I was on with Alex Dono and Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. And we're talking about Drieger. Would not surprise me. I know like the popular, I guess, rumor or whatever guess right now is Seattle. And I think it's just because Seattle's a team that is going to be in the market for a starting goalie, perhaps not willing to break the bank on one. But I think Colorado is an interesting spot as well, because Grubauer is probably not, I think he's going to test the market. So imagine Chris Drieger going to that powerhouse of a team. Anyway, a little off topic, as I tend to do. But yeah, back the Zito presser. So, obviously he said he had just finished his last exit meeting, which was with Mason Marchment, like literally minutes before walking in and popping in front of the laptop or whatever they have there at the arena for them to do the Zoom on. You really get the feeling, and I mean it's been a feeling that's been growing since last September. The Panthers have found their guy. And it's an interesting way of thinking, because they just had a guy in Dale Talon that was here for a decade, pretty much. A little smidge, where he was off the job or, different role or whatever in the middle there. But, I mean, for the most part, for a long time, there's been stability in the front office. Again, save for that chunk of, the computer boys, whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, Talon was there forever, it felt like, and Zito's been there not even a year. Zito has been there for 9 months. And it feels like the Panthers may have found a guy. Progressive thinking, utilizing analytics in addition to, your traditional scouting, like the open-mindedness, the bringing in your veteran. Like if you look at the way that the front office was constructed, you've got your veteran hockey minds that have been around for a long time, and then you've got your newer, the new age, or however you want to, the analytics side of it. You've got it all covered, really. And Zito, I mean, absolutely strikes you as a guy that is so meticulous, going through everything. I mean, just the way that he speaks to the media, which you would think is kind of like the easier part of it, right? Especially for these guys that can really pick and choose how much they want to divulge. But with Zito, it's just, you could tell that he puts his heart and his soul into everything that he does. So I'm really, really anxious to see how it plays out into his second offseason, his second draft, see how the Panthers handle the expansion draft, which I think we're all a little conditioned, PTSD expansion draft right now. As we watched last night, Vegas get a big win over Colorado. Riley Smith played great. Jonathan Marchessault had a beautiful goal from behind the net that as a goaltender I hate. Man, yeah, that was a tough tough sequence for Grubauer, talking about Colorado's goaltending. I don't know if you guys saw that game last night, but back-to-back shots that Colorado scored on funky. One was a funky deflection, one was a shot from behind the net. Whew, man. But great game. And again, just kind of back to the initial point. Marchessault Smith playing very well. I mean, just thinking about what a team Vegas had right off the bat. Just going back to, they had Fleury, Carlson. Man. And what they've added to it now. Theodore Martinez on the back line. Mark Stone, just, man, that's a good team. And the way that they've really shut down Colorado for the last 2 games. Man, am I like the biggest ADD when it comes to this stuff? I'm so far off topic here, as I'm like still on my first Bill Zito bullet point. But yes, so just seems like what Zito's doing, it's going to be sustainable. You just look at the moves that he made off the bat last year, whether it was the Hornquist trade, signing Gudas, signing Verhage, bringing in Wenberg, just everybody. Just really, the only move that didn't really work out that well was Vinny Hinostroza. I mean, okay, it's a pretty good batting average. He's given himself a little bit more flexibility, but he was able to get rid of the Brett Connolly contract. Yeah, I want to see where this is going. It's just the feeling of optimism in the front office is one I haven't really had in a while. You talk about the culture change that Zito, that was the first thing that he talked about on day 1 last September, was changing the culture in South Florida. And you saw it with the guys that he signed, and he talked about it, bringing in guys that, have put on their hard hats. They come to work every day, no matter what's going on. Professionals. Just building it right, man. It started with, as I said, with Hornquist and Gudas. Bringing in character guys, not just like a fancy name or something that is going to get the fan base excited because it's a name that'll go up in the scoreboard. Face will be printed on tickets. No, it's bringing in maybe the not so well known guys, but it works. Like Zito and Q, they must be on the same page, because all these guys that Zito is bringing in, it's just working and working and working. And I love what Zito said about bringing in Hornquist and Gudas and kind of switching to that culture. He said it the other day, he saw it in the first 10 games. And he referenced a story that he had told before about a practice early in the season that had just ended, and everybody's leaving the ice. And Patrick Hornquist was so upset with the way that they had practiced the power play that day that he brought everybody back onto the ice, and he said, "No, we're not done. We need to fix this now. We need to get this right. We're not done working yet." And it's that kind of mentality that has just oozed throughout the season, and you saw how consistent they were. So just very exciting stuff, man. I'm super pumped for this. So one thing that obviously was a hot topic with Zito, and it was as well when the season ended, was this summer the Panthers can start negotiating with their captain Sasha Barkov on a contract extension. Barkov was entering the last year of his deal. It pays him, I think, $6.5 million. You want to talk about I take it back, $5.9 million. You talk about a bargain? Jesus. So Barkov, you would expect him to get double figures. I mean, he's really one of the very best in the league at this point. The good thing is Barkov is such a nice, genuine guy. He wants to be here and succeed in Florida. Zito, so good at his job. I mean, he was the contract cap guy in Columbus. So I would expect it to be a pretty easy negotiation. I don't think it'll drag out very much. They'll get something done. The Cats are really lucky to have a guy like Barkov, somebody who's so chill and who's just a good dude. You don't really see him trying to do anything that usually goes on in these contract negotiations. Barkov is just going to want to get back to work. So the Panthers are very lucky with that. All right, we're going to hit the break. On the other side, Jeff Chikrin will join me, and we will talk about the season. We'll talk about the offseason, talk about some fun locker room stuff. So, stay tuned for that on the other side. Hey, guys, every Thursday from 7 to 9, catch Fight Night with Alex Dono and James Walker. It's the show dedicated to combat sports, from the UFC to boxing to bare-knuckle brawling. Alex and James provide the combat sports fans information that they need and the interviews they crave. So tune in every Thursday night from 7 to 9 for Fight Night with Alex Dono and James Walker. Search and subscribe for the podcast by searching Fight Night on the home for combat sports, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Dwork. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Miami Lakes location at 15462 Northwest 77th Court, located in the Ryan Oaks Plaza. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodyAsDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody-Ass family. Dr. Moody-Ass is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodyAsDental.com.
On July 16th, another bare-knuckle battle goes down as BYB Extreme showcases another fight card at Hard Rock Hollywood. BYB 6 returns as John Michael. Jomi Escoboza prepares for another bare-knuckle battle in the Trigon, the smallest and most confrontational ring in combat sports. The engineer by day stands at 6'3", 185 pounds, and is born in the Dominican Republic. He fights out of Coconut Creek with an undefeated mark of 7-0. On July 16th, Jomi faces Luis Melo Jr. in a final round of the 185-pound tournament. This exciting fight ends with the winner facing the victor between Rene Whiteboy Rodriguez and Matt Delanoit. Don't miss BYB 6 live at Hard Rock Hollywood, July 16th. Watch it on stonefaces.tv. BYB is proudly sponsored by BMCHam.com. BMCHam.com, your choice for gold and silver.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InnerMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Florida Panthers insider David Dwork.
OnsideRadio.com gives you a ton of options to listen to the station. You can now download free apps from radio.net, Podbean, MyTuner Radio. Download any of these free apps and listen to your favorite Onside Radio host. Visit our website, OnsideRadio.com, to find all these links. All right. Churning along here on Chirping the Cats Radio, and we're going to get to the interview right now as joining me on the line is Jeff Chikrin, Florida Panthers studio analyst for Bally Sports Florida, former NHL player and Stanley Cup champion. Jeff, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, David. How are you today, my friend?
Always good, always good. It'd be a little bit better if we were still talking about the Panthers in the playoffs, but it's been a good tournament.
Yeah. It's been a great tournament. I mean, you just see how much parity is in this league when you got teams that haven't played each other. Well, these teams obviously still have. It's going to be very interesting come the next round. But when you have, it was just amazing. And you just even look at the Central that the Panthers played in. Obviously, that how close the teams are, how close it's almost like the each round is a mirror image of the one that happened before, and it's a battle for anybody to hold home ice.
Yeah, I was just saying before the break how I'm really anxious to get to next season, just to kind of see how this Panthers team is going to stack up against other teams, not just the 7 that we've played, all season. I want to see how the Panthers stack up against some of the Western Conference teams that play a completely different style. Because, we saw the Panthers succeed doing their thing all year, playing the possession style, running their transition game, using their speed and their skill. And it worked out well against most of the teams in their division. But I want to see how it filters out against the rest of the league. Kind of excited for that.
Yeah, I am too, David. And I think, and to Bill Zito's credit, you look at all the players that he brought in and the various needs they addressed from Carter Verhaeghe coming in and just being a real workhorse on the left wing on that number 1 line. You address the strength down the middle with a Sam Bennett. You have Alex Wenberg with another year under his belt. You have kids like Mason Marchman stepping in, and who knows what his role will be next year. Could it be the 4th line, 2nd line, 1st line? He looks like he can play just about anywhere. You've got, amazing when you think probably a dozen players literally came in, David, and made sizable contributions throughout the season. And, just an amazing job by Coach Q and his staff with that 30-man roster, if you include the taxi squad, and filtering guys in and out of the lineup and keeping them fresh and prepared to play. That could not have been easy. Everybody wants the puck and everybody wants to be in the juggling he did between the pipes. I look at the Panthers, and I don't know that everybody might have at the start of the season, possibly because of all the new players. But I look at them as a very deep hockey club right now, David. And it's going to, and to your point, it's going to be fun to see Barkov and Huberdeau really in the primes of their career going against those big bodies and big clubs from out west and every other division too. So I think it's going to be a great season next year.
Yeah, and you kind of hit on it with Barkov and Huberdeau. Like, these guys, they're still getting into the prime years. These are still like 25, 26-year-old guys. So we really haven't seen what their greatest potential could be, which is almost mind-blowing. And you think about that in terms of like Aaron Ekblad as well. And Spencer Knight, who, is he even finished with puberty yet? It's unbelievable.
I'm not getting into medicine right now, David, but I agree with you. You're right, and you think about Barkov and Huberdeau, and they still have young legs, like you said. That they're young guys; they have young legs. Because I think their best playoff days and those long runs are going to really come in the future here. You're right. Missing Aaron Ekblad, obviously a workhorse for this hockey team. I think he led the league in goals for a defenseman the time of his injury. And his, you think Aaron's old, was he 24? Is he 25 now? But he's going into his 7th year, I believe, David, or 8th year already. Talk about time flying. And, the experience that they have, the emergence of Mackenzie Weegar as a number 1 and 2 defenseman, which was just phenomenal to watch. Yeah, we tried to touch on it at the post-game show the other day, or a week ago or so ago, and there's just too many stories to really hit on, because I think of all the youth and all the guys that have come in and, like we said, made sizable contributions, it's going to be fun to watch.
Now, I did want to ask you about Spencer Knight. We touched on him for a minute, but just because it's such a rarity, and you've been, whether it's been involved in the league forever, you've been analyzing the game, watching the game, you've been around. Have you ever seen a goalie this young have this kind of an impact? And I know that you were with Philly. I don't know if you were with the team when Ron Hextall had his crazy rookie year. But, it's so hard to even think about any goaltender coming in at that age and playing that well and consistently.
Right, he did. He made it's just a great start to his career. Obviously, was he 5-0 in the regular season, David, or 4-0, and then
4-0, and then the 2 playoff games.
Yeah, coming in cold really into game 5 of that series and getting a must win after the team had a bit of a tough loss in game 4 in Tampa. All the people in the building. It just looked like he'd been there before. Obviously, and I was lucky, David, because I was sitting near you in the press box, and I was getting a goalie's perception of what you kept talking about his rebound control.
Yeah.
And because you know what? It's funny with goaltenders, David, unless you're really watching them, the only time you really notice them is when they make a huge save or make a mistake and the puck's behind them.
So true.
Well, from that point on, I really started watching that, and all I could think of was his pads. They'd either have stickum on him or they're really soft because, like you said, he's really in control of that second and third shot coming his way because if it's the angles of his pads or the way he's square to the shooter, he really controls that. And to the Panthers' point, they did a great job of clearing rebounds out in front, but rebound control was something I definitely noticed after you mentioned that, David. Other goaltenders, it's a really tough comparison. I guess I look back to '86 when Patrick Waugh won a Stanley Cup at 20.
Oh man,
that was maybe a comparable. Ron Hextall, obviously, like you mentioned, having I think he won a Conn Smythe.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was his first playoff run or it was his first playoff run.
He was a rookie.
I know he was a rookie. I was with him in Hershey for part of the previous season when we made a run to the finals. And I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. But obviously, we talked about some players of that ilk or that skill set. You talk about them looking like they've been there before. Well, I'm sure Spencer's been in that net in his mind, playing road hockey, playing outdoor hockey, winning a Stanley Cup, or winning that Game 7, or winning the World Junior Tournament, or the Final Four of the NCAA in his mind 1,000 times. And when he got out there on the big stage, he performed and absolutely gave his club, against arguably the best team in the league, the Tampa Lightning, an opportunity to win the playoff series. And what more could you ask?
Now, something I wanted to ask you from somebody that's been in quite a few locker rooms over the years, and I just wanted to get your perspective. Obviously, you're not in the Panthers locker room, but this season we saw kind of a unique situation play out with Keith Yandle and his Iron Man streak and how they really seemed to take on an importance in the dressing room to the guys, not just to Keith, but to the whole team. Like we heard about the stories that they went to Coach Q before the season started when it looked like he might have been a healthy scratch. And I just wanted to get from your take something that's really not that connected to wins and losses, but it really seemed to be an important issue to the guys in the room. In terms of that compared to wins and losses, because, we saw Yandles struggle as the year went on. So when does the camaraderie give way to the importance of winning and losing is basically where I'm going with that.
Right. Well, I think, David, if you look at, first of all, I was fortunate enough we both were to be in that locker room a little bit the previous season and sort of get to know Keith and sort of see a bit how he interacts with his teammates and obviously, his leadership qualities and I'm fortunate to have been in the Arizona locker room and how the people talk about him as a man out in Arizona and quite revered in that respect. So obviously the popularity within the room is special. You talk about the iron streak. It's not easy, even if you're not the most physical player out there to get yourself ready to play all those games and almost 10, 11 seasons in a row without missing a game. It's mind-boggling to me. Where does it take a turn to what's best for the hockey club? I guess that's really up to the coaching staff and to Keith's credit in the playoffs when he didn't play, he handled it like a true professional. I think he was still extremely supportive of the guys going in. But it's something that can certainly be a distraction if those involved can let it become one. But I don't think you become a 35-year-old in this league without going through a lot of trials and tribulations, and at some point understanding your role on the club. And if eventually sometimes you become, I don't want to say in Keith's case, a special teams player, and where you get, you really need him on a power play. And if things start struggling where you're playing against an outstanding 4-line deep club like Tampa, sometimes you can be exposed a little bit. But I don't feel it was ever that much of a distraction outside of the initial beginning of the season, David. And I think he played really quite well, at least the first half of the season. So, and you know what? I think with this condensed schedule this year, I think there were probably at times where a lot of guys suffered from tired legs playing all those games. And in the Panthers case, where the first 2 weeks of the season, they didn't play many games because they played a couple of clubs that had COVID issues. Yeah. And so that probably intensified their road, and didn't have a lot of practice time, and so the drain on their legs. So I don't know if I answered your question or not,
No,
David,
that's actually something that I was thinking too, that maybe the condensed schedule was having kind of an impact on that, on top of that he's played 1,000, 1,000,000 games, whatever it is in a row.
Yeah.
So, but all right, cool. I appreciate the insight, Jeff, and I appreciate you taking a little bit of time this morning with me. Hopefully it'll be a short summer and we'll see you back on the broadcast again next year. But don't be a stranger. I know you're heading north soon. So have a great summer with your family, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, David. I appreciate you having me. Be safe, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, too.
All right, my friend. Be well. It's Jeff Chikrin, Panther Studio analyst on the Bally Sports broadcast, and all-around great guy. So thanks to Jeff for joining the show. We're going to take a break. On the other side, I will get to my chirp of the week, and we will go around the pond and talk about some of these awesome playoff games that have been going on. But first, I want to talk to you about starting your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. Toast covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight as well. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast, Toasted Sports, 8 to 10 a.m., only at OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., listen to Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard, brought to you by Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is a home for soccer around the world. Stout Bar features Clonakilty whiskeys, the world's best Irish whiskey.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandolux partner.
WLEN, broadcasting from a largely empty building. And we do sports.
It's just not local.
Shush, honey.
Why is the building empty?
Because whether it be budget cuts or stupid management, we've fired almost everybody.
Ooh, but we still have our job live and local.
At least the building is.
We've got your sports.
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Chekker's Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Chekker's Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Chekker's Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat-rated Chekker's Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's David Dwork.
You can watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio, log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk. All right. Thanks to Jeff Chikrin on the last segment there for joining me. Great chat with Chick. Great insight as usual. Gonna get to the chirp of the week and go around the pond in just a second. Well, something I wanted to get to before jumping into that is Sergei Bobrovsky. I'm thinking that when training camp rolls around next season, it's going to be at least an open competition. Like, best guys going to play. That's what Bill Zito has said. That's what Coach Q has said. The best guys going to play. And we saw it with Spencer Knight. The plan was for him to get one game. We've already been told that. And he played so well that he played himself into 4 regular season appearances, 3 starts, 4 wins, and a start in the postseason. A hell of a relief appearance. So, yeah. I think Bob's going to end up taking a back seat. I do. Based on what we've seen from Bob for the last 2+ years. And thinking that Spencer Knight's going to remain as consistent as he's been across the board, whether he was at BC, whether he was World Juniors, whether he was at NHL level. He's just done his thing quite well. And he's only going to get better. So, we'll see what happens when training camp rolls around in a few months, but I think we're going to be following a hell of a story with a 20/21-year-old Spencer Knight next season. And Bob is just going to be, hopefully, a solid, I would expect in the early part of the season they will give Bob a chance to try to round out his game, so you would maybe a timeshare if nothing else, but certainly Spencer Knight's going to get his share of starts. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. We'll see how it plays out, but, yeah, it can be nighttime in South Florida. All right, we good to go, Abe? All right, let's do some chirping.
Hey, son, you're a disappointment to your parents. What are you doing? Working on my trash talk.
It's time for the chirp of the week.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
You can pick the hand I beat the out of you with.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I don't think so.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
That's so funny. Last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur.
All right. What's kind of gotten under my skin the last couple of days, and it kind of got blown up a little bit this morning. You remember Gerard Gallant, former Panthers coach, led them to that awesome division title a few years back in 2016. Beloved by his players. Then he got fired by the Panthers, old taxi cab thing, and he gets hired by the Golden Knights to be their inaugural head coach and leads them to the finals in their first year. And it's, oh my God. And then he's let go again by Vegas. So Gallant now still unemployed since January of last year. Right now he's leading Team Canada to this improbable gold medal game appearance after they beat Team USA today in the semifinals 4-2. Team Canada that started the tournament 0-3. The players have come together to play great hockey under a great coach. We've seen it multiple times now. I don't get what the deal is, why Gallant cannot seem to get like a consistently, like, why won't an NHL team commit to this guy? Like, signing him to an initial contract is clearly not a commitment. Wasn't in Florida, wasn't in Vegas. Remember, he was the head coach in Columbus before. He's a successful coach. He won a Memorial Cup with Huberdeau. I just don't get it. He's going to be a coach next season. He's going to get a job. Like, I'm quite sure of this. He's already interviewed with the Rangers. He's interviewed with Columbus. He's probably got another interview or two coming up. You'd wonder if maybe Seattle's going to take a look at him. But, man, like, what is the deal? Give Turk some love, man. So, anyway, that's where my anger, my chirpiness was coming from this week. Just give Turk some love, man. All right, and as I stay on the outside, we'll do a little review of the playoffs here. Abel, are we good to do some skating?
Lace up your skates. It's time to go around the pond on Chirping the Cats Radio.
All right, so the surprise, I guess, of the second round is kind of stemming from a big surprise from the first round, and that's Montreal now has won 6 games in a row. No, excuse me, 5 games in a row in the playoffs. Nobody could have seen this coming, right? Montreal's got the 2-0 lead on Winnipeg now after that amazing comeback in the first round after being down 3-1 to the Maple Leafs. I mean, with the whole North Division, I've kind of harped on it a little bit at this point. Like, it's a blah division. Some exciting hockey with the McDavid and Draisaitl in Edmonton and Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, who disappeared in the playoffs. You got to appreciate that about your superstars, South Florida. At least Barkov, Huberdeau, at least those guys continue to produce in the postseason. The goaltending was an issue. But the superstars were there. You say it. The Bruins-Islanders series, that's some, maybe not the most exciting hockey, but some good old-time hockey. Boston looking like their usual dominant self again, and really he's got to give it. I mean, you've got a 50-year-old Patrice Bergeron. You got a 45-year-old Brad Marchand. And you've got a 90-year-old Tuukka Rask. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but, man, like, they're all having total throwbacks, particularly Tuukka Rask. I mean, Marchand and Bergeron have really been pretty consistently good. Age be damned. But Tuukka Rask, wow. Very impressive. And I like to see it. I've always been a fan of his game and how he's kind of an emotional guy, wears his heart in his sleeve. Wasn't a fan of the spoke to be on his jersey, but, that's a South Florida thing. The Islanders, I mean, they're a fine team. Not getting the best suspect goaltending in the playoffs. And I was kind of disappointed. I was really excited to see Ilya Sorokin getting it in the first round. And I was really hoping to see him kind of run with it the way I saw him run to a Gagarin Cup when his last year in the KHL with CSKA. That was awesome goaltending. And I was kind of hoping to see a similar thing in the Stanley Cup. So, The Hurricanes-Tampa series, it kind of feels very similar to the Florida-Tampa series because these are just some damn good teams. They're fast. They're skilled. They're certainly one thing about these teams in this division is everybody has zero issue with getting a little, grimy and gritty and rough and tumble and all that good stuff. I think the biggest X factor is Andrei Vasilevsky just looking like his crazy, amazingly awesome self that the Panthers were able to get to him. That's the thing. The Panthers were really the only team that were able to get to him. Not the entire series, as we saw. He totally shut it down in games 5 and 6 for Tampa. 4 as well, really. But man, Carolina goaltending has been meh, which was my issue with Carolina going into the season. I didn't think that they'd get this ridiculous rookie in Alex Nedeljkovic playing well, but Nedeljkovic was okay. Now they've gone to Mrazek, who's been not bad, but nobody's stealing games, which is what Vasilevsky's doing for Tampa. And then the Vegas-Colorado series. Now that Vegas has won a game, and the way that Vegas has really shut Colorado down the last 2 games, I really hope this series goes 6 or 7 games. And it's tough to bet. I'm still having a hard time betting against Colorado the way that they've just been steamrolling teams for a while. But Vegas, to their credit, they're meeting Colorado's speed at the blue line, forcing them off the puck, forcing them to go wide. Basically putting you see like a wind flow that's been cut off. As Colorado was, apropos to their team name, they were an avalanche, and Vegas has found a way to. I don't know how you stop an avalanche; it just has to stop on its own, right? But Vegas playing some great hockey, man. Max Pacioretty last night, perhaps his best playoff game ever. All over the place, and I touched on it earlier. You've got guys like Marchessault and Smith contributing. You've got William Karlsson looking great. And then Marc-Andre Fleury. Don't take him out of the net. I get that they've got Robin Lehner, but Fleury's the guy. You just got to go with him the rest of the series. It's just Fleury. You just play him until he goes into the Hall of Fame at this point. Gotta have respect for the guy. All right, gonna hit the last break of the show. On the other side, Austin Robillard is here. He's in the house. We're gonna talk about some football, and not the kind that happens on Sundays. The kind that happens on most days. We got to talk about Inter Miami. We got to talk about the U.S. men's national team. So we will hit that on the other side. Hey, every day at Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily. Just search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At ChaseRoofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. ChaseRoofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust ChaseRoofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
What do sports radio AM stations sound like to us? The same as they sound to you. South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
These are unprecedented times. Challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Chekker's Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Chekker's Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Chekker's Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat-rated Chekker's Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandolux. Bandolux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandolux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandolux Beauty. Go to Bandolux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandolux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandolux partner.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Florida Panthers insider David Dwork.
All right, we're back on Chirping the Cats Radio, wrapping it up, and about to welcome Austin Robillard of Red Card Radio for a little crosstalk. Real quick, I did want to touch on... that was my bad. I did want to touch on... I mentioned Aaron Ekblad and an update with him. Bill Zito said he's making significant progress, and it just looks like he'll be ready for training camp, and I'm not really too worried about it, so good on Ekblad. And then Anton Lindell, last year's first-round pick, who had a great year in Liga with HIFK. He's doing great at the IHF Worlds right now. He's going to play in the semifinals in about 20 minutes against Germany. So check that out. I think it's on NHL Network. But he's going to be here for training camp as well. So Florida's center depth continues to grow. And lots to be excited about for next season. Now, one thing that I'm not so excited about as I am excited to talk to Austin. Don't get it twisted. I'm very excited to talk to Austin. I'm not so excited about my favorite soccer team, my home club, because what the bleep is going on with Inter Miami, Austin? Like, they looked so discombobulated, and they started the season looking like they had it figured out, and it's off the rails.
Yeah, it's fallen off the rails quite a bit. very inconsistent. You know, you had the win against Cincinnati, which looked good, and then you had these couple of losses against Chicago and DC United that
they looked decent in Nashville even.
Yeah,
I
Nashville,
mean,
Philly. I mean, there was a couple of
yeah,
good
Philly.
games. Yeah, and now all of a sudden it's just like we're one of the most consistently bad teams in the league. It feels like. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's pretty disappointing. And I guess this 3-week international break couldn't have come at a better time for them to regroup and not go on more than a 2-game losing streak. So I guess you can look at that in a positive light, but at the same time, how much hope can you seriously have with the way that they have been performing? I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to get into it today, and I'm going to talk about a little bit of the sanctions and the salary situation that we have going on. I spent like 4 hours going into it and discussing it all. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to, but also not a lot to look forward to depending on your perspective.
I mean, I guess the positive is that they're only 3 points back of a playoff spot, despite all the struggles.
Yeah.
And you've got half a season to go. So if perhaps they take this break, they use it to their advantage, and they get their shit together, it's not like the playoffs are out of reach.
But if you asked me if they were a playoff team right now, I'd say no.
No, I wouldn't want to see them on the playoff stage right now.
Or else it'd be another 3-0 to Nashville like we saw last year, and you wouldn't want to see that.
No. All right, let's talk about something a little bit more positive, and that's the U.S. men's national team. A thrilling win against Honduras and a big game tomorrow against Mexico. I mean, we're really starting to ramp up as we get towards the Olympics this summer.
Yeah, it was our first competitive game in over 2 years, I think.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time, or a little under 2 years, but it's been a while, and I was very excited to watch our number one A team go at it. We definitely had a couple of injuries that didn't, some people didn't make it into the starting 11, but the A team is there. They're in camp together, and they got the win against Honduras, and it wasn't pretty, I'll tell you that.
No, it was frustrating.
It was very frustrating to watch as a men's national team fan. You thought the quality should be a lot better, but at the end of the day, for me, they got the result, and that's what matters. And for the last 4 years, the U.S. men's national team has failed to get results. And the fact that you went in the 89th minute and got this result, and now we're getting to play in a final, is a positive step. It's just how they take on this final and how they take on the Gold Cup in the summer is really going to determine a couple years going into this World Cup in 2022.
Now, is Pizarro playing for Mexico on Sunday?
No. I don't think Pizarro. I know he's in camp with them, but he didn't make the lineup against Costa Rica. Not even on the bench against Costa Rica.
Man.
Yeah, no, I don't think that he'll be there as much as I root for Pizarro. I think
no, it would have been fun to see him.
Yeah, I think this 2021 year, there's gonna be a couple moves for him in a lot of different ways. So we'll see.
You're saying that kind of in a teasy way, like maybe you've got something to talk about on your show coming up.
I think so. I think I'm gonna project a little bit of a move for Pizarro, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, that's Austin Robillard from Red Card Radio. Catch his show coming up on the other side of the break, as Austin's going to dive into it all, and I will be listening, as my soccer knowledge has definitely been growing by leaps and bounds over the last few months, thanks to my man Austin. So thanks to Austin. Thanks to Jeff Chikrin for joining the show earlier. Bally Sports Florida, as always, great to talk to Chick. Thank you to Abel, who is more than able on the other side, pushing all the right buttons and making sure everything in the station is working and running smoothly. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Chirping the Cats Radio. We'll be back next week, live 10 a.m., here at Drive Pink Stadium. Until then, as always, be safe, be kind, and stay cool. Take care.
Onside Radio. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Chekker's Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
At Onside Radio, we're your home for all sports, and we give gaming culture the platform it deserves.
Congratulations to Sony and talent agency Endeavor as they have finalized their purchase of the Evolution Championship Series. EVO, as it is known, is one of the longest-running esports tournaments and focuses on fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. After being canceled last year due to COVID-19, EVO 2021 will be held virtually this August.
Keep up with the latest in gaming and e-news daily. Subscribe to Onside Radio on most platforms. Your home for gamers worldwide. OnSideRadio.com.
Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard is brought to you by Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is a home for soccer around the world and a great place to root on Inter Miami CF. Stout Bar features Clonakilty Whiskies, the world's best Irish whiskey. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the hosts, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, websites, or Inter Miami Marketing LLC.
The card is out. The show is on. Soccer fans,